So what is Super Mario 64?
Yo, listen up.
We will not live in a two-dimensional world.
We won't go in one direction
or seek where we can say.
We will walk through walls.
We will take a look around us.
We will not be confined.
We believe in the path of least limits.
We won't be told how to view the world.
We will experience true freedom. We will not compromise.
We will live the game through our hands.
We will be in control of something.
We will change the system.
A Mario game? Dre, just go ahead and give this game 5 mushrooms out of 5 or whatever. We know about this game already, and we don't need you to poorly explain it. Well, hold on there, buckaroo, cause I have some thoughts that I want to put into words for this video. Yes, Mario games are the gold standard in terms of series quality. With
almost
every single game can be thought of the best of its kind. Better yet, this was a launch game with a Nintendo console, which also has high standards, which take advantage of the new features of the new console. Super Mario Bros., Super Mario World, both highly acclaimed games that led Nintendo to dominate the last 2 console periods. Could Super Mario 64 live up to all this history? Could Super Mario 64 marry the warring cousins of 3D and platforming? Well, yes, it could, and it did. It was a smash success and part of the nostalgia for anyone who owned a Nintendo 64. I even see this game on a lot of a best of all times lists. But have you played this game recently? Like really, have you? Because honestly, it doesn't hold up nearly as well as you remember. But before I get into that, let's start from the beginning. Super Mario 64 was released in 1996 on a Nintendo 64 as a pack-in with the console. It was Nintendo's first attempt at a 3D style Mario game after the success of the series on the Super Nintendo. This was a big risk at the time, as converting a primarily 2D series to 3D didn't exactly have the highest rate of success. You were more likely to be a Bubsy 3D than the cool new Crash Bandicoot games. Nintendo itself has experimented with 3D with Star Fox on the Super Nintendo. That was a hit back then, but looks a little rough now. But Nintendo knew they had to hit it out of the park, and on top of that, sell consumers on the brand new Nintendo 64 and the new confusing Trident controller. As opposed to the tight control design of the Super Nintendo, where you got 4 face buttons, a control pad, a start and select button, and 2 top shoulder buttons, the Nintendo 64 instead decides to throw the fucking kitchen sink at you. The 64 said, yeah, we're keeping the 4 face buttons, but we're turning them yellow and making them little, and threw in 2 big colorful buttons to give you 6. Next up, combine the start and select to 1 big ass red button, and add in a control stick below that. And just for good measure, go ahead, turn the controller around. Yeah, go ahead, turn it around. Turn it around. Bam! Another button on the back. Now, if you think this is pretty overkill, you would be correct. The Nintendo 64 controller is legendary in its uncomfortableness. There are multiple ways that you can hold the controller, all of which make it difficult to use without practice. But oddly enough, there had to be some type of innovation to make Super Mario 64 work. The addition of the control stick absolutely makes the Super Mario Bros. Formula work for the 3rd dimension. The control pad only worked for the previous games because Mario only walked from left to right. If Nintendo didn't adapt and only used that for this game, it would have bombed hard. As opposed to the 4 directions of the control pad, the control stick allowed Mario to move in 8 directions, with another button dedicated to jump, which allowed semi-smooth movement throughout the 3D space. In all actuality, there are multiple ways to jump in this game. You can standard jump with a button press, double jump with 2 button presses, and you can super jump with 3 button presses. You can also do a backflip jump by using the jump while in a crouching position, which will get you pretty high in spite of jumping with no momentum. You can also sideways jump by jumping the other direction while running, and that will help you as well. Mario can also wall jump by being sure to jump when he hits the wall.
Nope.
When he hits the wall. Okay, good. In standard combat, well, you can jump on most enemies with Mario's greatest weapon, his ass. He can also punch, that you will rarely use, as most enemies will be defeated either by being jumped on or dove into for good measure. Mario can also interact with things in the environment, such as boxes, shells, and even bomb bombs that can be used to take out anything threatening him. The yellow C buttons are used to control the camera, which will be necessary since this isn't a 2D platformer anymore, and it can be tough to see everything in Mario's eyeshot. Well, this game frames the camera controls as a Lukitu capturing everything with a camera, presumably for some type of propaganda Mario uses to blackmail the Peach royalty. You can even see him sometimes when you walk around the world and in front of mirrors. You would think Mario wouldn't hire a drunk to tape his heroic escapades, but this Lukitu is one of the biggest issues with this game, but that will be explained later. Mario 64 basically has the same plot as most Mario games. Evil Turtle A kidnaps Princess B, and he must be stopped by Italian plumber C. This time, however, Bowser learned the Persona 4 method of captivity by throwing Peach and all of the Toads in the paintings around the castle and transforming them into full-on worlds with their own climates and culture. Mario is invited to the castle with the promise of cake and comes to find the damage. There, he's both informed of the situation by a phantom toad and taunted by Bowser, and there's the story. You must go throughout the castle into each painting world, finding all the power stars that could be found that would allow you to open up doors to new worlds and new areas of the castle, including finding and beating up the big bad turtle for the castle house keys a total of 3 times. Although there are a total of 120 power stars in the game, with 7 stars in each world, and some stars being found in overworld that are being kept hostage by some terrorist rabbits, you only need 70 to get past the endless staircase to fight Bowser for the final time to save everyone. So what's the motivation to go for 120 stars? Well, you get shit talked by Bowser on his way out, and are able to use a previously unusable cannon at the beginning of the game, which allows you to shoot your way onto the roof, where you find Yoshi! Oh, Yoshi, where have you been all game? I missed you, buddy. Oh. Unlimited lives? I mean, I'm already basically done with the game, but thanks anyway. Can I still ride you? No? Okay. And that's basically it. Congrats. So, let's get into it. In each world, you are basically given a 1-sentence hint for each of the 6 stars that you can choose as you jump into the photos that represent the levels you will be playing on. You get the typical Mario affair: regular world, water world, desert world, lava world, ice world with some tropes being represented more than once. Giant World from Super Mario Bros. 3 makes an appearance in this game as Tall Small World. And then you have some wild cards thrown in like Tick-Tock Clock and Rainbow Road. The game throws you in the world, and there you go. Do whatever looks fun to you. Sometimes the star you select doesn't give you a chance to do anything else, as you are railroaded into an event. But most of the time, you're just placed in a level and left to your own devices. You can get stars out of order if you can find them without a hint. The tasks to get stars range from just finding them in the world, racing various creatures, helping out a native with a task who just so happens to have them in their pocket or whatever, and oddly enough, collecting coins. Coins are a staple in Mario lore, though this time collecting 100 of the regular coins and all of the red coins in the world will give you a star each. Usually getting 100 regular coins gives you a 1-up, but extra lives can just be found out and about in the world in this game. And for good measure, they'll hone towards you like a guided missile. Okay, so I've been avoiding it long enough. This game is still fun, the worlds are very creative, the soundtrack is amazing, and at the time, it was the best available. Note the words I just said, at the time, because playing Super Mario 64 25 plus years later is tiring. First of all, the game looks like ass, which isn't saying anything special because it was released in the 90s. Everything looked like ass in the newly 3D era, so I'm not gonna hold that against it. Looking like ass combined with the controls, however, throws multiple headaches in your direction. Platforming through the level can be difficult if you can't tell if you can stand on a bit of blurry environment, or if you won't immediately fall off because control stick wobbled a bit to the left and Mario A-Town stomped his way into a pit. And the camera. Oh, the camera. Platforming in 3D space is already a hassle. What makes it worse is the camera not responding to you trying to get into position, or it seems more interested in being close up to a wall. This Lukitu should absolutely be fired with prejudice, or perhaps given the true Mario punishment. A good hard squashing. Coming from the later Mario games back to this one, it will really shell shock you how bad the camera controls are and how much they hinder gameplay. But Dre, you say weakly, you can switch the camera controls to be handled directly behind Mario. You can do this, and lo and behold, the game is now unplayable. So much for that. A few stars require absolute precision, either in cannon fire or jumping. So how mad would you be if you take the time to expertly aim your next jump just for Mario to call an audible and try and tackle air? This gets even worse when flying, in which the flying controls are absolutely awful. The wing cap is one of 3 unlockable hats, which allows Mario to fly. But instead of a soaring eagle, Mario becomes a dodo plane. And if you ever tried to fly the dodo plane in GTA 3, you realize how awful it is. Continuously having to ride the current to propel yourself upwards is a hassle, let alone having to precisely fly through rings or pick up coins and stars, and having to navigate thin platforms or walk on ice or on lava and try not to throw the controller through the TV. Ah! I hope you understand. I'm not mad at Mario 64. I've just been tainted by how good the sequels are and how prehistoric this game feels coming back to it years later. Maybe if you asked younger Dre, he would give this game a 5 out of 5, but yeah, not anymore. It's still worth playing as a bastion of historical relevance, but get ready for your reality to not hold up to those precious youthful memories. This game gets 3 caps out of 5, but at least you can still bully Mario on the cover screen.